Romans chapter 11 is a significant part of the Apostle Paul's letter to the Romans. In this chapter, Paul addresses the complex relationship between Israel and the Gentiles in God's redemptive plan. He emphasizes that God's promises to Israel have not failed, despite many Jews rejecting the gospel of Jesus Christ. Paul begins by affirming that God has not rejected his people, using himself, a Jew and a follower of Christ, as evidence. Paul explains that a remnant of Israel has been chosen by grace, echoing Old Testament patterns where God preserves a faithful group even in times of widespread disobedience. He also introduces the idea that Israel's rejection of the gospel has led to salvation for the Gentiles, which in turn is meant to provoke Israel to jealousy and eventual belief. A central metaphor in the chapter is the olive tree. Paul describes Israel as the natural branches of the tree, some of which were broken off due to unbelief, while Gentile believers are like wild branches grafted in. This image highlights both God's sovereignty and mercy, warning Gentiles not to become arrogant, as they too could be cut off if they cease to believe. The chapter concludes with Paul expressing hope and confidence in the eventual salvation of Israel. He proclaims a mystery, that a partial hardening has come upon Israel until the full number of Gentiles has come in, and then all Israel will be saved. This does not necessarily mean every individual Jew, but points to a future large-scale turning of Israel to Christ. Paul ends with a doxology, praising the depth of God's wisdom and the unsearchable nature of his judgments. Romans chapter 11 reminds believers of God's faithfulness, the unity of his plan for Jews and Gentiles, and the importance of humility in receiving grace.